The FBI has arrested 4 members of a violent pro-Palestinian group. They're accused of plotting to blow up multiple locations in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. Here's what Homeland Security's Tricia McLaughlin had to say about this earlier on this show.
This could have been a deadly attack. This could have cost many American lives. This cannot be a partisan issue. This has to be an American issue. This is about supporting our law enforcement, making sure that they know we have their back, and reminding each and every person that terrorism has absolutely no place in the United States of America, and we will hunt it down every step we can.
Former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf joins me now. Do we have the resources to follow all of these suspects? There must be a lot of them out there.
Yeah, obviously it's a very difficult thing to do. I think the FBI and others have done a great job here disrupting this. But it's a challenge, right? Because you're going to have a variety of different groups here. But I think the key here, Stuart, is making sure that we're holding those accountable, right? And we're providing off-ramps to those folks that, again, are becoming extremists and radicalized over a period of time. But I go back to a congressional hearing just a week ago where they talked about the top threats to the homeland are, 18,000 known or suspected terrorists here in the United States that you don't know about. But it was also sort of this anti-fascist movement against the United States, anti-Western movement, usually by very young individuals here. And I think we need to understand what's driving that and get our arms around it.
When you talk about an off-ramp for these youngsters, what's the off-ramp?
Yeah, it's folks in their networks that are identifying, saying, hey, these individuals are becoming more and more extreme. Their views are becoming more and more extreme over time. And then offering to step in to say, hey, let's go to this type of, whether it's a community center or this type of organization, and they help kind of provide that off-ramp. What are your views? What's your frustration, either with law enforcement or with the federal government or whatever it might be, and trying to provide them other positive avenues to really start to hear their voice, so you basically take them away from the only solution is a violent solution.
We were talking about this earlier, but there's good news here in that the FBI cracked this case using an informer. So all other groups now have to worry about an informer in their midst. But let me move on to this. Police have released new surveillance video of a person of interest in the Brown University shooting. Here's what President Trump had to say about the investigation.
Has Kash Patel told you why it's been so difficult for the FBI to identify who the shooter is?
Well, it's always difficult. So far, we've done a very good job of doing it. You'd really have to ask the school a little bit more about that because, this was a school problem. They had their own guards, they had their own police, they had their own everything. But you'd have to ask that question really to the school, not to the FBI. We came in after the fact. And the FBI will do a good job, but they came in after the fact.
Chad, there has been a lot of criticism about the school's investigation.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the American people and those following this case are a little frustrated that there hasn't been more progress. I think also you need to take a look at what was going on at that school. How could this individual get into a seminar or a classroom of any type? How do they have the credentials and the ability to get in there? That needs to take a look at. There needs to be more camera footage. I think it was an older building, so it didn't have the security cameras as well. So on all of these universities, right, security has to be paramount, and you're going to have to really step up the actions that you're doing. And not one university out there across the country is immune to this. So if you're in the middle of, the middle of the country and you're saying, well, this can never happen at this university, it can. And so they need to take the security precautions and protocols very, very seriously and continue to look at what more can be done there to protect the students.
The trouble is, if these people affect our behavior, like we stay away from crowds around Christmas time, or we fortify our campuses, then they're winning because they're affecting our behavior. And we don't want that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to fortify as a campus, but there are certain security protocols that you can strengthen.
Got it. Chad Wolf, thanks for joining us. See you again later.